starters. I'm Jonah Sandall.
And I'm Alex Derlago, and today we are joined here with left guard, the Hawaiian Hog, Jared Elia.
Tackle.
Left tackle, Hawaiian Hog, Jared Elia, and Oliver Latta.
Yeah, and we are coming here after the Woodburn game where Wilsonville won pretty convincingly. We're going to go over the game against Woodburn and also the homecoming game a little bit against Canby, just because we didn't really get anything on that. So a lot of graduating players from last year's team, and you guys are still having a very good season. What do you think has been the main factor into some of the players stepping up and taking those roles?
Do you want me to go?
Go ahead.
In my opinion, one of our big factors so far this year is having a lot of the guys that have played together before, like on JV, and so everybody is kind of like friends this year. So it's like everybody enjoys playing together. And then I think everybody's been a leader in some form in other sports and whatever in the past.
Yeah, what are some differences between like JV and varsity, just in terms of like practice expectations and stuff like that?
I would say it's a lot more dialed in. It's a lot more like focusing on your game plan, game to game. It's a lot more of a game plan that you're focusing on than certain plays that you run. Whereas JV is on a more, you got the fundamentals every week.
Yeah.
RC, it switches up week to week based on your opponent.
Okay.
So I just kind of want to go back to last Woodburn game. Woodburn's QB throughout the year, he's been able to create a lot of big plays, and you guys were kind of able to shut that down. So what was your game plan differently going into this one?
The game plan was the defensive game plan was put a lot of pressure up the middle to the quarterback, and then we had our outside backers on contain, making sure we couldn't break out any big plays.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing was just making him throw the ball because everybody knew that he was more confident in running the ball, certainly. And I mean, I think that's what we were all a lot more worried about rather than his arm.
Yeah. For the Canby game, last year you guys faced them in the conference championship. It was close at half, and then you pulled away. It was a lot easier at half for you guys this time. What do you think changed from this year to last?
I think it was in part due to the fact they had a different quarterback playing in our game, and I also think that it had to do with just us knowing that it was homecoming for all those seniors and all those guys wanted to go out and get a dominant win in their last homecoming.
Yeah.
So again, kind of talking about the Canby game, D-line able to get a lot of stops, really stepped up in that one. So what do you guys think kind of the key takeaways for defense or on defense were?
Get to your gap, do your job, and it'll open up from there. That's how a lot of sacks happen from that. Doing their jobs.
Mm-hmm. Ollie, you've been part of a receiving group that's had a lot of new faces. You know, Mark moved from quarterback to receiver. Nick graduated last year, and a lot of new faces stepping up. You had a lot of plays against Woodburn in the screen game. How has that been just with the receiving group?
I mean, I only experienced last year's receiving group for playoffs.
Yeah.
And I think it was a lot, since it was a lot more senior, or it was definitely a lot more senior led, and like a lot of those guys were, I don't know. I think it's been a lot different just seeing how everybody's grown as leaders over the year, because at the beginning of the year, I think a lot of people felt out of place. And so seeing how those guys have become better leaders over the years has been cool. And I think that's played a big part, and I really see the difference between when I swung up for playoffs last year versus the beginning of the year to now for the guys that have been leaders this year.
Yeah.
So kind of talking about the new conference, obviously this offseason put in a much tougher conference. How do you guys think your schedule has changed most differently from last year? And how do you guys think, the new conference is going to fare in playoffs?
I think it brought a lot of new competition, teams you haven't seen before, and it was good to finally get in the league after a tough but very competitive first half of our schedule with home league. And I think once we got to league, we just got to keep getting better, getting.
Yeah. Talking about playoffs, is there any team you guys had your eye on for a potential matchup later on?
I think the biggest one, I don't think everybody's really focused on playoffs. I think everybody's been more focused on week by week getting better, especially after our loss to Silverton. I think everybody's just wanted to improve with our last couple games here. And then I think we're all just looking forward to show that we were better than our Silverton loss in the playoffs.
Yep. All right. I don't think I have anything more. Alex, do you?
I think I'm all good.
All right. That was this week's Regressing the Starters. Thanks for watching.